Do you want to know a legal way to lose your property and all the equity? And it's not through a bank foreclosure. Hi, I'm Gordon Baker, and today I'm going to cover something that may seem disturbing at least to some reasonable people. I was listening to someone talk about how state and county governments can legally take a person's home. My first thought was, I am so glad I live in Arizona where we don't do stupid stuff like that. Boy, was I wrong. Now the U.S. Supreme Court has decided to step in and get involved. You see, there's an industry built up around tax liens and tax deeds. And why are they so appealing? Well, because tax liens take priority over many other liens, including judgment liens and mortgages. Investors and governments have made this into a very lucrative industry where they can obtain the title to the house and the equity all over unpaid property taxes without just compensation. Even unpaid utility bills, such as water bills, in some states can be considered as property taxes and subject to tax deeds where owners lose their property and entire equity. We'll get to where Arizona stands on this, but first, let's see why this is being reviewed by the U.S. Supreme Court. Well, Geraldine Tyler, now a 93-year-old widow, bought a condo in Minneapolis, Minnesota. After some events in the community made her feel unsafe, she and her family decided to move her to an apartment in a senior community. She fell behind in her property taxes for her condo by approximately $2,300. And after interest, penalty, and fees, the amount climbed to $15,000. Then the county sold the condo for $40,000, $25,000 more than she owed. And the county government kept the entire amount. All her equity, after satisfying the outstanding liens, was taken. Her lawsuit hinges on two issues. First, keeping the entire proceeds of the sale in excess of the amount she owed was a violation of the Fifth Amendment's takings clause and the Eighth Amendment's prohibition against excessive fines. And before I forget, be sure and do that like and subscribe thing and hit the notification bell. Now, you may be thinking, is this really a big problem, Gordon? It doesn't happen that often, right? Well, a report by the Pacific Legal Foundation on End Home Equity Theft reveals that from 2014 until 2021, more than 7,900 homes were taken as payment for property tax debts. This resulted in $777 million in home equity lost by homeowners. This does not happen in all states. It's concentrated in less than half the country. The same organization put together this map showing the states where home equity theft is more pervasive, those in red. Unfortunately, Arizona is one of them. How can this happen in Arizona? Well, each county may be different, so let's look at Maricopa County, the largest in the state. When a property owner does not pay their taxes, the county conducts an online auction of property tax liens once a year in February for properties with unpaid taxes. Investors bid on the tax lien interest rate. The bid with the lowest interest rate that also pays the outstanding taxes receives the tax lien certificate. The property owner has 3 years to pay 16% interest and back taxes. If the homeowner pays the tax lien holder receives the amount that was paid for back taxes, plus the interest rate that was bid when the certificate was purchased. If the owner does not pay off the tax lien, the investor can foreclose on the property through a judicial foreclosure, gaining title to the property and eliminating any mortgage and most liens. The result is the original property owner loses the title and any equity they had accumulated. Now, this process seems to suffer from the same inequities that brought Tyler versus Hennepin County to the Supreme Court earlier this year, namely a property owner losing their equity in excess of what is owed without just compensation. Interestingly, a bill was introduced in 2020 in the Arizona House, HB 2445. I don't know why it didn't get further than it did. Maybe it's better that I don't know. For some reason, it didn't get the support it needed to become law. At least someone thought about doing the right thing. It would have changed the process to be handled like a mortgage foreclosure. The property would be auctioned to the highest bidder, and the auction price less the liens and penalties would be returned to the homeowner. Like I said, there is support for the status quo in Arizona, where investors are guaranteed a rate of return with the potential of a windfall acquiring the title and equity of the property. Wow, that makes for a really good ROI. This is how one company characterizes tax deeds. What is a tax deed? A bargain hunter's dream. When a company that helps investors foreclose on homes was asked what percentage of the liens go all the way and actually obtain a deed, the response was, quote, "Unfortunately, the percentage is pretty low. Only about 10 to 15% of all tax lien certificates result in a tax lien foreclosure. Most debtors actually pay their taxes after receiving either the demand letter or after service of the lawsuit. But if they do not pay those taxes, the investment you made can be quite rewarding," close quote. Well, we see where some people stand. I've had experience with this. A client of mine, not from this country, bought a house for cash, not familiar with the process to pay taxes, combined with some very serious health issues. The taxes went unpaid. Tax liens were sold, years passed, and the upcoming foreclosure date was getting near. Besides the liability of paying past due taxes, interest, and fines, he would have lost the property and the entire equity. Fortunately, he paid off the tax liens and brought it current enough to where he had breathing room to sell the house. Yes, you can say he should have paid his taxes. Agreed. The government has a right to take action to collect taxes. Also agreed. But does the government, a creditor, have the right to take more than it's owed, stripping the homeowner of their equity? That's essentially what the Supreme Court will be deciding. As of right now, arguments are set for April, and an opinion is expected in June. I look forward to your comments and feedback, and I encourage you to follow this case. I know I will be. Thank you.